What's going on, everybody? This is going to be the Battle in the Briars. Happened on the 2nd of April, 2016. We're at Bryan McClain Disc Golf Course, and my card's starting off on hole number 16. Well, number 16 is about 166 feet, and I threw a grip line pure. This is Bo Warsham. He's the only guy whose name I can remember because I really grew up playing with him. He was a good guy. I mean, the rest of them were great cats as well. I didn't get their names. I couldn't remember them. I'm getting old, I guess. I called this guy the Romo guy all day simply because he was wearing the Tony Romo shirt. And this gentleman here was a former veteran, and I really enjoyed him as well. He was a real nice guy, down-to-earth cat. But, I can't remember his name for the life of me. He took an unlucky skip off the tree there in front of the box, and so everybody's just trying to get close for the three. Typically, this is a hole that you want to make sure you birdie because it's a fairly easy hole. What I like to do is I take a putter, my pure typically, and just throw it straight and let it fade into the basket usually. And 9 times out of 10, you know, it gets you close enough to make your birdie, and you get your birdie and get out of there and move on. So Tony Romo here is going to go ahead and putt in for his three. I'm going to clean up for my birdie, and then we're going to move on to number 17. Number 17 is 320 feet, little dog leg right. I'm throwing a destroyer, a AJ Star destroyer, and I threw it all right. I didn't stand it up enough. I should have put some more snap on it. I'll have a putt though. Bo's going with the overhand shot, and that's a lot of locals here like to throw the overhand here, and it works out great. But for Bo, I think he just didn't put enough on it. Not enough go juice. No one on this card in this round, nobody really threw this hole all that well, to be honest with you. You can also throw an Annie here as well, you know, with like a mid-range, or even if you don't have the arm, you can club up to a fairway driver or even a driver. The only problem is you got to be careful because behind the basket, less than 5 feet, is water. And what you don't want to do is end up there. Bo's throwing his upshot here, and he throws a great upshot. All he's trying to do is get close to get par, get up and down, and get out of there. As we get closer, you'll see behind the basket, you can see the drop off, and there's a little river that runs through there. So this gentleman here, who, you know, I guess we're just going to call him the vet because that's all I remember about him. He was a nice guy, and he was a veteran. So all he's trying to do here is get out and get close so that he can get up and down and take his three, and he just kind of leaves it out a little bit further. He's going to have some work coming back. I definitely was not running it. I didn't want to end up in the water, so I just kind of laid up for the three. Moving on to number 18, hole 18 at McClain's 291 feet. What I typically do is that right there, but what I shouldn't have done is put that much snap on it. So turn it over just a tad, but I'll have a look. A lot of the locals who have the overhand shot will throw the overhand here. The only problem with that is you got to get up and down, up over those trees really quickly. What you run into here, there's water, same creek as on 17, 15 feet in front of the tee box. So if you hit those trees, you're 9 times out of 10 going in the water. And that's no bueno. So you can throw a sidearm here, you can throw the backhand, which is what I typically like to go with. So I was thinking here, I really wanted to make this to go 2 down through 3. I wanted to really give it a run. My putting felt pretty good today for most intents and purposes, and he got it. I knew if I just made sure that I got it there, I would at least catch chain, and that's all I wanted to do. So I was pretty pleased with the fact that I got the birdie, and I'm 2 down through 3. And this was a great save for, I think it was for par for that guy. Old Tony Romo here, a little wobbly out of the hand. Probably not going to be pleased with that. And I don't know if this was to save. I think this was for bogey for the vet. He got it. Moving on to 1. Most people here on hole number 1 is 250 feet. most people just want to do that there, except not suck with their overhand shot. That was horrible. It just kind of fell out of my hand. Anything right of the sidewalk is OB, and Bo finds that OB, and he's probably not going to be pleased with that at all. There's a hyzer shot. You throw it out over the top of the trees, let it come back. Problem with that is you run the risk of staying OB because you'll hit the trees and fall down. There's also a sidearm shot, which we're going to see here from the vet. Except the vet, oh no, he's a lefty. But he's just going to throw a hyzer at it. And I think he holds on to it a bit too long. A little bit of grip lock action there. Honestly, it's a really simple overhand shot. And if you have any kind of thumber in your bag, more than likely you're going to at least take a par here. Unless you throw the thumber like I did. And
needs to throw a decent
this was a great
There we go. There's a decent.
He just rolled a little bit long, but okay. Moving on to number 2 at McClain. Number 2 is 402 feet. OB is right of the sidewalk, and I am throwing a destroyer, champ destroyer, and was not pleased with that. Came out of my hand a little early and low. So I'm going to have a little bit of work there. I don't think... There's going to be some of these holes that I didn't catch the footage on all of it. I'm sorry, I'm not professional. And keep in mind that I'm playing while I'm recording this as well, so it's kind of difficult to, you know, keep my mind on what I'm doing and record. And, I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot of sticks in the fire if... you know, to keep things going. Bo holds on to that a little long, worried about it going OB, but it comes back, thankfully.
Safe.
So anyway, let's have this for my upshot. Just wanted to pull one in there and let it sit close. I didn't give it enough spin, and I left myself way too long of a putt for par. Both those are really good. He has a nice little overhand shot. It's quite utilitarian. Anyway, this was to save par, and really not pleased with that at all. Again, my putting was good, but that one I just didn't throw it well. Okay, moving on to 3. 3 is 287 feet. There is an overhand shot. You just saw it. Both threw it. You know, I can't even speak on what lefties do here. I guess if you have a sidearm, you could throw a sidearm as a lefty. What I like to do is just take like a relay or an eagle and throw it right up the middle and let it fade at the basket. I think what I'm throwing here is a relay, and I'm not going to be pleased with it. Tink! Yeah. That's very disheartening, I got to tell you, especially when I felt like I was playing okay up to that point. Luckily, I pulled out the buzz. And I was OB, or I wasn't OB, I made it past the sidewalk, and I actually got the buzz pretty close, and I was able to save par, get up and down. One thing I will say about my game is that I'm pleased with my scrambling ability. Moving on to 4, that's going to be OB. This is the long tee at McClain, and you have to be past the sidewalk here, or else you're OB. Anything short of the sidewalk or left of the sidewalk means you're OB. And I think almost everybody on our card, except for this guy, he throws a good shot here, I believe. Everybody goes OB except him. And there's a drop zone that we end up playing from. Yeah, I thought that was going to sneak all the way through right by the basket, but that was still a good shot. I'm throwing my truth. And I thought it was going to get through. Actually, I wound up inbounds. I'm sorry. I didn't get through. But I did get past the sidewalk, so I was pleased with that. The vet was not pleased with that, so you're not going to see the upshots there. Sorry. We are moving on to hole number 5, which is 405 feet. This is a hard dog leg right. It's definitely going to be, you're definitely going to end up with an upshot because there is a river probably about 200 feet to the right of that turn. I'm throwing a Star Destroyer, and basically all I want to do is throw it out there, you know, 250, 280, and let it skip right. Set yourself up for your upshot. And it looks like that's what everyone's done so far, except for Romo. That's a little shallow. You want to be further out to the left of the frame. And so was that, so Bo had to just kind of lay up there as well. That, again, you still want to be further up and to the right. That's where you want to be. That's a really good shot from the tee box. You leave yourself something that you can actually go at it. When I threw this, I was really like, oh crap, I'm going to hit that tree. But it worked out. Saved my par. This is number 6. Number 6 McClain, we call the schlepp hole. Most people do that, but don't suck. What's funny, in the second round, I parked it, almost aced it. You just basically want to throw a soft putter or a little overhand at it. It's 140, and
That's nice.
today the only OB on this hole was surrounded by water, so oftentimes they make anything in that ditch OB, which makes the hole a lot tougher. Moving on to 7, and 7 here, I don't have the footage for it because it says 191, but that's the short box. I want to say probably about 340. Very difficult hole for lefties and righties. The hole is probably, like I said, about 340 up and to the right. I was just trying to throw in something that floated out with a little bit of ante. I wasn't trying to get there. I just wanted to get to the guardian trees so I could have a run at a birdie. But honestly, a 3 here is just as good as a birdie. Alright, so we're going to move on to number 8. Number 8 is 303 feet. And what I usually throw here is either a T-bird or an eagle. And it looks like I've got the eagle. And that'll play. I don't know why I had any on that shot, but basically you just want to throw it straight with a little bit of hyzer. Let it fade towards the basket. Bo's not going to be happy with that. There is, I'll say this, almost every hole out here at McClain has an overhand shot. So if you have a really good overhand, this is the course you want to play. We have a couple locals here that really tear this course up because they have really solid overhand shots. So, and you know, I don't know how you feel about overhand shots. Personally, I think it's part of the game, and if you have it, use it. I only have an overhand that is, it's usable, it's workable, and that's really all I want, is an overhand that I can use to get out of trouble, or when that's the only thing I have. So number 9 is 297 feet. I'm throwing a Star Destroyer, and I just didn't stand it up quite enough. This is definitely an aceable hole. You just got to put a move on your sidearm, on your flick, and flatten it out. As it fades back to the right, sometimes you'll catch that basket. I didn't, honestly, what I typically like to do is record from tee box through basket, through chain out. I didn't today. I apologize. I know it's kind of frustrating only getting to see tee shots and sometimes some up shots, but it is what it is, folks. It's really difficult recording and playing a tournament at the same time. Bo, I thought, threw a good shot there, just he got unlucky. This was about 320, and I think I was throwing an eagle? No, a T-bird. I threw a T-bird. It's a temporary basket, and the basket's set up by the telephone pole in the middle. You can't see that telephone pole right now because my big chunky behind is in the way. Now you can see the telephone pole. The basket's kind of by that telephone pole. All I was trying to do was throw something straight for about 300 feet and let it fade the last 20. And I'm the only one you're going to see on that hole, apparently. Moving on to hole number 11. And that was miserable. 11 is, it's actually the normal 10, but we were playing 2 temp holes. So this hole was 503 feet. Typically what I'll do is throw a turn, let it fade out, play an S shot, let it come back, you know, kind of a more stable turn. But I threw a miserable shot there. I mean, miserable. I don't even remember if I got up and down for par or not. I guess we'll find out if I edited it out or not. And Bo puts a pretty good move on this one. Oh yeah, that was a great shot by Bo. I should have asked him what he threw here because he really put a move on that. I think he left himself maybe 160 for his upshot, which on this hole is great. This is where I wound up, and I remember thinking I'm going to get it close. And I threw a pretty good shot. I just didn't hold that ante long enough. I'll still have a putt for my 3. And considering the drive, you kind of got to be pleased with that because that was a miserable drive that I threw. And here's Bo's upshot. Great drive, and he had left himself a shot at birdie. So this was for my 3, and I almost got it, which was a pretty good scramble. Moving on to number 12. Great shot by Bo. You either want to go straight down the middle, throw an overhand. Some people like to throw a hyzer at it as well. I'm throwing my eagle. It is 313 feet. I don't know why I'm in slow motion here. I think because I was falling asleep when I was editing this. Yeah, I wanted to show Bo's really good shot, and apparently I wasn't paying attention during the editing format. So apologies for that. The video is gonna have, it's not going to be my best video. Just saying that now, because I was exhausted at the end of this day. I had a long week. Turn the eagle over just a tad, but I'll still have a look. The vet goes up the middle. Stayed a little close to the left-hand side. Turn that over just a tad. And that's poop. Bo's pretty much the only one that had the good shot on that hole, and I think he birdied it. So here we are on hole number 12. Yeah, 12. 220 feet. You can throw the overhand or you can throw the sidearm. I throw the sidearm with the Star Destroyer, and the last 4 times I've done that. So frustrating because it's such an easy hole. All you got to do is throw a sidearm right through the gap and let the disc do the rest of the work. But I choked it up. Let's see who we got throwing here. Somebody was thinking about it quite an awful long time. Oh, the vet. Yeah, he's not going to be pleased with that. There's actually a skinny route right through the middle. You can call it the pro route, skinny route, call it what you want. You got to be crazy to go down that skinny lane, though, in a tournament format. Moving on to 13, which was actually turned into 2 holes, 13 and 14. This was about 340 feet. You can't see the basket. It's off to the right. I took a turn and just put it on an ante line and let it fade towards the basket. That was my take on the hole. Typically, this is the longest hole in the course, but Joe Rotan went ahead and split the hole into 2 holes to make an additional hole. Like I said, we had 2 temp holes out here today. This was one of them, 13A or 13 and 13A. I was pleased with the shot. I felt I could have thrown it a little harder, got it a little closer, but it is what it is. Typically the hole is 605 feet, but like I said, they split it in half, and it's about 340. Not sure where Romo was going there, and that's a good shot for this hole. You just want to throw it flat with a little bit of ante, let it fade right. That's where I wound up. Got a good looking putt at it, you know, about 40 feet. Almost got it. 300 and probably 30 feet here. This is 13A. Both of those a pretty good shot at it. It was starting to get a little windy out there by this point. I was throwing a turn because I just wanted to throw something flat and let it turn over a tad. And I really wasn't super pleased with that. But again, I'll have a putt at it. So it worked. Instead of throwing, what I wanted to throw is I wanted to throw something on a line the whole way that kind of anteed at the end, and I know that's a really difficult shot. Either way, it didn't work out. What I wound up doing is throwing something flat to hyzer flip and then back to hyzer at the end. It is what it is. And this is the vet. And looks like the vet's not pleased with that. Old Tony Romo. Not quite gonna have the distance, although it did turn into a roller. And that was a decent shot. This is where Tony Romo wound up.
Go in.
And that almost made it. I thought that kid was gonna pull a 2. I was trying to pull the 2 here, but not the putt I was looking for. Alright, moving on to 14. 277 feet. It's actually 15 for the tournament. 14 at McClain. 277 feet. Throwing Star Destroyer. And I was pleased with that. All you want to do is get, throw something sidearm or turn over any backhand shot. I typically throw the sidearm. You don't have to throw it far. It's only 277 feet. There's a little river that runs through it there, and you just want to reach that little dry riverbed. Again, like I said earlier, you could throw a Tommy here, or not a Tommy, a thumber, and a lot of people do. Running for 2. There was some water behind the basket today, but it wasn't OB. Water wasn't OB on this hole. So this was for my 2, and I think we had 1 hole to play, and I just wanted to make this to kind of go in on a good note, and I did, luckily. That's unfortunate. And the vet's trying to pull down his par here, and he did. Alright, moving on to 15. 360 feet. And that's a really good shot. I mean, not really good, but it's playable. You basically want to throw it 300 feet on a line and let it skip hard left at the end, because it's a strong dogleg left. It's like 300 feet straight and then straight to the left for probably 100 feet, 120 feet. So what I like to do here is I like to just throw it straight through the fairway, try and get out there around 350, because if you can get through the fairway on the other side of those trees, you'll actually have a putt for a 2. I didn't do that this time, but still, it was an okay shot.
Stand up. Kick out.
What you don't want to do is you don't want to be close to the left-hand side. You definitely want to make sure you're on the right-hand side of this fairway, because that's where you end up. And Bo's not going to be happy with this. Yeah, he caught the tree.
Good play.
Just unpleasantness. You want to be out there away from that tree line so you can either go up and over or shoot the gap. This is where my tee shot wound up, and all I wanted to do was put it close, get up and down for a 3. And I almost got it. Almost ran that one out. That would have been a great 2 to end the round on. He's not going to be pleased with that, and the vet's not going to be pleased with that. They were laughing at each other. It was kind of funny. Tony Romo here. Almost got it, but not quite.
The 3.
A little dramatic. Bo wants to finish strong, and he does just that.
Bye, Bo.
And I want to finish strong with my 3. And I believe I do just that. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it was kind of choppy.